Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Getting Started with Dwarf Fortress, the tutorial series here with me, the Mucha Mouse. Today we are talking about a cistern. A cistern is a large storage container, or small if you so desire, for water. This is something we build in order to get water underground. Like on this map, it's probably not as important because we have a stream and it is running continuously all year long. But on some maps, you have water that freezes, depending on how north or south you are in the world. And you want to keep a stockpile of water underground. Regardless of that, you probably also want to keep a stockpile of water underground because you want your dwarfs to have access to water easier. Water for the animals, water for prisoners, etc. So they don't have to go all the way up and into the stream. So in order to do that, we will build an underground storage tank for water. I have already gone ahead and built all this because you don't want to see me clicking through the tediousness of actually building it. You can do that yourself. You can design it however you want. So we will talk quickly about some of the key features of it. Right here, we have our farming level. We have 4 farms here. Farmer's workshop, some seed storage, some food to be processed, etc. And we also have a sandstone floor grate. What this initially was a hole in the ground where I channeled it down. I have since removed the ramp underneath and put a grate on top of here. The grate is there to serve 2 things. Firstly, make sure that no dwarfs fall in, and secondly, that no animals or creatures or monsters can come up, at least without breaking the grate. Another thing that we do, then this is right beneath the grate, is we have the tank here. This is where water will be stored. Now I have dug out all of this, I have smoothed it, I have made sure that all the stone that was in here was removed. I did that by flagging that as dumping and getting the dwarves to dump all that stone into a dump area. I then channeled out here, or not channeled, I dug out here and I built or dug stairs going upwards. Because you can do that. Not only do you dig down, you can start your stairs from the bottom and dig up. So that is what we did here. We went upstairs, and then we have a channel here. And I dug out around here and placed walls. You don't necessarily need walls. We won't erode away the dirt here, but for the aesthetics, I did that through this clay level to the sand levels, all the way up here where we have a downstairs. I also walled this off a little bit, just because. So what we have now is an area here that is full of, or not full, that is prepared to put water in. We also have an upstairs here and a hatch cover. So this is ready to be filled with water, and we get a save immediately as I start talking. So we have to wait for the save to complete, and I will be back. Right, saving well over. Let's continue talking about the water system. On top of our stairs here, we have a hatch cover. This is basically a door in the floor. You have to construct a hatch cover of your desired material and place it just like a door. So we have done that. We also have an X here, which is a floodgate. A floodgate is also basically like a door, except dwarves can't open it without using a lever. So I have a lever here. It has been linked to the floodgate above in order to allow water to enter our area. We also have a wall grate, which is here to filter out monsters again, make sure no evil things or bad things can come through and swim into our system. And down here we have the most important bit of this water storage tank. Can you guess what it is? probably not. Pressure is a thing that Dwarf Fortress simulates. So that means if I were to channel open on top now and let water flow in, it would flow down the stairs into our area here and fill our tank. If I did this with the pond, it would be fine. If I connected it to the stream, which is an endless supply of water, water would flow in here, it would fill the cistern to the roof, it would then start flowing out of this grate because it is much further down. So the water pressure would force water up, which would then in turn flow into my stairs, down my ramps, and flood the entire fortress. Snatcher. Yeah, well, he's been spotted. No matter. It's a goblin. Well, let's see what happens here. He runs away. Good. So, the importance here is that we need to prevent pressure from going or running amok in our fortress. Which is also why I have a floodgate on the intake, because I can open and close. So if I've pucked up somewhere, I can just close the floodgate again and limit the damage. But we have in here the Dwarf Fortress magical special pressure release valve. I don't know. Magical pressure hindrance thingy. Pressure does not transfer diagonally. So by building this wall, water can still flow through here. So I put a wall in here in this corner, and just because of the graphics, it looks like there's plenty of room. But this is a square with a wall. This is a wall, which means water can flow diagonally, but pressure does not. Pressure does not move diagonally. So by putting that on the same level as the cistern, it means that I can fill this area with water, but it will not rise up through my grate. So let's go ahead and open her up. Firstly, we would like to go to our floor hatch, and we will say L, forbid. You're not allowed to go in here. This is just to prevent dwarfs from being stupid, going down into the hole and getting flooded. Secondly, we need to start channeling this. Come on. Miners will come wrong. They will channel out that. And water flows. Now we see this pond here. This travels diagonally here as well. Water has... Yeah, you've been possessed. Yeah, you can go ahead and be possessed in your own time. We will deal with you in between episodes. Water now flows in here, but it stops at the floodgate. So if we go down, pull the lever, we wait for someone to come along and do that. There it goes. It opens the floodgate. And we see the rushing mist of water over here, as this will start to drain the pond, basically. And water flows down into the chamber. And this is a rather slow process because this pond doesn't have a lot of water, so there's not a lot of pressure building up behind it to force it down the hole here. But it will slowly but surely drain this pond. Now, this pond will not be enough to fill our entire cistern, but my plan here now is that once this has drained, I will go ahead and start digging straight under the wall in here and all the way up nearly to the river. Once that is done, I will send the dwarfs down to put in another wall grate underneath the wall here, to make sure that the hole that I'm digging over here cannot be swam through and bypass our nice wall. to protect ourselves. And once that is done, we will just go ahead and channel out the last bit on the outside of the wall, opening up in and allowing it to filter back in. This will fill back our pond with water. It would also completely fill our water reservoir down below. Now this area here, if I were to go and say I, and we tag this as a zone, and then I can say this zone is a water source. Eventually I will also like to build a well to make it even easier for the dwarfs to get here. But in order to do that I need a chain, and I don't have metal industry going yet. Alternatively, you could use a rope, which also counts as a chain, but that means I'll need textile industry and rope making set up, which I also don't have. So for now it's just a floor grate, but we can build a well on top of that. No problem. And that is the basic things you need to know, probably, in order to make a underground water reservoir for your dwarfs. Somewhere where they can store their water, have easy access to it, even during winter, or even during sieges when you are besieged by vile forces of darkness. So that's it for this episode of Dwarf Fortress, and I will see you in the next one.